I am staring at my friend Lewis right now as he picks up a heavy 35-pound cast iron weight plate. He smashes it directly and brutally into his own face. And the most terrifying part of this nightmare? He is smiling constantly with this sick, twisted, unforgettable grin. I only came here tonight to buy some Vicodin for my terrible, chronic back pain. My name is Sky Riley, and I am a global pop star, desperately trying to make a massive comeback. But honestly, right now, I feel like I am completely losing my damn mind. It all started, unfortunately, after that horrific, tragic car crash last year. I miraculously survived, but my beloved boyfriend, Paul, sadly did not make it. I spent an entire, agonizing year recovering, fighting my personal demons, and trying to stay perfectly clean. My mom, who is also my incredibly demanding manager, pushed me relentlessly to start a brand new world tour. But the physical pain, radiating constantly from my deep surgery scar, was completely unbearable. No doctor, anywhere in the city, would dare prescribe me strong painkillers, simply because of my dark, publicized past with drug addiction. So, out of sheer desperation, I secretly texted an old, distant classmate, Lewis. I went to his gloomy apartment, late at night, hoping for a quick, easy fix. He was acting, immediately upon my arrival, completely unhinged and deeply paranoid. He kept talking, frantically and endlessly, about some invisible, malevolent, smiling entity. Then, suddenly, he started screaming at the top of his lungs. He collapsed, violently, and convulsed on the dirty floor right in front of me. When he finally stood up, that horrific, unnatural smile appeared on his bloody face. And then, without a single moment of hesitation, he brutally killed himself right in front of my wide, terrified eyes. I panicked, blindly, and ran away into the freezing cold night. I didn't call the police, out of sheer, overwhelming fear. I genuinely thought, at the time, it was just a tragic, drug-induced psychotic break. But the absolute nightmare, terrifyingly, followed me straight back to my luxurious home. I started seeing terrifying things, lurking everywhere in the shadows. At a high-profile charity gala, I had to give an inspiring speech. I looked down, nervously, at the glowing teleprompter. It suddenly showed Paul's name, glaring back at me. My dead, rotting boyfriend. Then, impossibly, I saw him walking slowly towards me from the crowded, silent audience. He wore that exact same, terrifying, unnatural smile. He lunged at me, violently and unexpectedly. I screamed, uncontrollably, and fell backward over the decorated banquet table. Everyone in the massive room was staring at me, utterly confused and shocked. To them, clearly, I was just screaming wildly at thin air. I called my best friend, Gemma, begging desperately for immediate help. She came over, quickly, and tried her best to comfort my shattered, fragile nerves. But things, inevitably, kept getting weirder, darker, and much more dangerous. I received a cryptic, threatening message, suddenly, from an unknown phone number. They sent me a disturbing, shaky video of Lewis. In the dark footage, he was absolutely terrified of something smiling maliciously at him in the pitch black. Then, to my absolute horror, Lewis appeared right behind me in the video frame. I was, without a shadow of a doubt, completely losing control of my own sanity and reality. I decided, recklessly, to meet the mysterious, unknown person who texted me. His name is Morris. He told me the dark, terrifying, unbelievable truth about this relentless curse. It is a psychic parasite, a metaphysical, ancient entity, he claimed, that feeds greedily on human trauma and deep psychological grief. It infects the mind, deeply and irrevocably. It makes you hallucinate, vividly, constantly, and without mercy. And after a few agonizing, torturous days, it forces you to violently kill yourself. It always, without fail, happens in front of a deeply traumatized witness. This is exactly how it passes the vile curse onto them, continuously spreading, just like Lewis, unfortunately and tragically, did to me in his apartment. Morris said, seriously and grimly, there is only one possible way to stop it forever. The entity dies, permanently. If the current, infected host dies without passing it on to someone else, he proposed a crazy, desperate, and incredibly dangerous plan. We needed to stop my heart, temporarily, using specific medical drugs. We kill the parasite within me, and then he would quickly resuscitate me back to full life. I thought, initially, he was completely insane and out of his mind. But then, rapidly, the horrific hallucinations got undeniably worse and more frequent. At an exclusive, high-end wellness clinic, I hallucinated my own, caring mom turning into a bloodthirsty, hideous monster. I tore out my own plastic Ford lines, screaming in pure agony. I ran out, frantically, into the busy, chaotic street. Gemma, surprisingly, found me wandering aimlessly. We hijacked a random car, violently, at gunpoint. While she was driving us away, unexpectedly, my cell phone rang loudly. It was the real Gemma, calling me safely from her own home. The person sitting right next to me, chillingly, was just another manifestation, a cruel hallucination. The entity was playing, cruelly and playfully, with my fractured, broken mind. I couldn't trust my own eyes, or my own senses, ever again. I drove, desperately and alone, to the secret, isolated location Morris gave me. It was an abandoned, run-down Pizza Hut, strangely equipped with a large walk-in freezer. Morris was waiting there, ready with his terrifying medical equipment. We entered the freezing, desolate, ice-cold room. I lay down, shivering violently, on the cold metal preparation table. He prepared the lethal, chilling injection, meant to temporarily stop my racing heart. But he left the room, briefly, for just a fleeting moment, and the heavy metal door, tragically and loudly, locked securely behind him. I was trapped, completely alone in the freezing dark. Then, inevitably, the monster appeared once again from the shadows. It was wearing my past self's flawless face, mocking me endlessly. It pinned me down, ruthlessly, to the hard floor. It told me, softly and maliciously, I could never, ever escape its grasp. I grabbed a stray, sharp syringe, fiercely, and stabbed myself deep in the neck. I was trying, bravely, to end it all on my own terms, to defeat it. But when I slowly, painfully opened my eyes, I wasn't in the cold freezer anymore. I was standing directly on a massive, brightly lit stage. It was the grand opening night, remarkably, of my highly anticipated New World Tour. Thousands of devoted, screaming fans were chanting my name, loudly and passionately. The entire desperate escape. Meeting the nurse Morris. The freezing room. It was all a complex, elaborate, flawless hallucination. The entity had tricked me, flawlessly and completely. It kept me alive, barely. Just long enough to put me in front of the biggest crowd possible. A giant, sold-out stadium, packed full of thousands of potential witnesses. I looked out, helplessly and tearfully, at the cheering, adoring audience. I couldn't control my own body, or my own actions, anymore. The dreaded, infectious smile, slowly, crawled onto my own face. A giant, fleshy, horrifying monster, grotesquely, tore itself out of my fractured mind. It ripped my mouth open, violently, stretching it impossibly wide, and then, finally, giving in, I took the heavy metal microphone and plunged it, fatally and brutally, straight into my own brain through my eye. The massive crowd watched, frozen in pure, unadulterated horror. Now, tragically and inevitably, they are all infected.